Walking with Jesus Bible Study, the reading for March 13th, Friday, from John chapter 13, verses 1 through 17. It was just before the Passover festival. Jesus knew that the hour had come for him to leave this world and go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. The evening meal was in progress, and the devil had already prompted Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot, to betray Jesus. Jesus knew that the Father had put all things under his power, and that he had come from God and was returning to God. So he got up from the meal, took off his outer clothing, and wrapped a towel around his waist. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet, drying them with a towel that was wrapped around him. He came to Simon Peter and said to him, who said to him, Lord, are you going to wash my feet? Jesus replied, you do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand. No, said Peter, you shall never wash my feet. Jesus answered, unless I wash you, you have no part with me. Then Lord, Simon Peter replied, not just my feet, but my hands and my head as well. Jesus answered, those who have had a bath need only to wash their feet. Their whole body is clean. And you are clean, though not every one of you. For he knew who was going to betray him, and that was why he had said that not everyone was clean. When he had finished washing their feet, he put on his clothes and returned to his place. Do you understand what I've done for you? He asked them. You call me teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for that is what I am. Now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you. Very truly I tell you, no servant is greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him. Now that you know these things, you will be blessed if you do them. Chapters 13 through 17 in the book of John is Jesus' preparation of the disciples for his crucifixion. These chapters concentrate on his teaching before his betrayal and arrest. In this chapter, Jesus takes the place of a slave to wash the disciples' feet. This contrasts to their self-seeking that we see in Matthew's account in chapter 20, 20 through 24. Foot washing was necessary. The streets are dusty, and sandals do not provide a lot of protection. It was an honor to be able to provide a servant to do foot washing, and it was considered a breach of hospitality to not provide for foot washing. Wives often washed their husbands' feet, and children their parents'. Jewish male slaves were forbidden to wash the feet. It was a service that was reserved for women, children, and Gentile slaves. Most people, in fact, had to wash their own feet. Peter tells Jesus that he's not washing Peter's feet. Peter saw that it should not be Jesus' place to be the servant, and Peter was not going to put him in that role to serve Peter. Jesus replies that if he does not wash Peter's feet, Peter has no place in Jesus. We must submit to the service of the Lord. There's a need of recognition that we need something from Jesus. Foot washing is just an illustration. Jesus is looking ahead to the redemptive work of the cross when he speaks of being washed here to Peter. Peter then replies that he is in whole hog. Not just my feet, but my hands and my head as well. Peter's still missing the point, but I hear here a man who is saying that he wants to be sure that he's covered. Lord, don't just wash my feet. If that's what it takes to have a part in you, wash my hands, wash my head. I want to be all in. Jesus tells him that one who has had a bath does not need to be cleansed again, but does need to have a continued awareness of sin and a spirit of repentance toward our daily sin and failure. When he says not everyone here is clean, it's a reference to Judas because Jesus knows what's about to happen. Jesus' act of service is a demonstration of how we need to serve one another, and that blessedness comes through obedient service to one another. Questions to ponder. What areas of life are we seeking to do ourselves? when we need to submit to the service of Jesus and allow Him to do work in us? Where are we saying, like Peter, not me, Lord, not here? And Jesus is responding, I need to wash your feet. Are we faithfully serving one another? Or are we trying to claim the place at the head of the table and have others serve us? After the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus, it would have been easy for the disciples to have gotten above their raising, to lose sight of who they were, to claim a place of preeminence. Does Jesus do this as a reminder, as this example, that boys, in a few days you need to remember that you're servants, not masters? Are there places in our life where we're trying to be the master and we need to be the servant? Points to ponder while we're walking with Jesus.